Legacy automakers and Tesla have been neck for neck in producing vehicles. Of course, legacy automakers on the West and Europe has produced ICE vehicles or internal combustion engine vehicles, while Tesla is focused on to the new, modern, renewable, outsourced electricity kind of vehicles that are going to help the world to transit between petrol economies to renewable ones. We can see that Tesla is really performing well. In 20 years, they have managed to catch up companies that are operating onto the market for over 100 years. So what is happening? Because we do know that the legacy automakers are going to kick in and they are going to switch on gears, and hopefully the competition is going to come, because I hear for the last few years the competition is coming and I'm still looking for it. Now, Herbert Diess and others, including Ford CEO Jim Farley, they all say that Tesla is way ahead because they have focused on this technology for longer. And in one way that is true. In another way, we knew that Tesla is going to be working on this. Elon Musk hasn't built his secret plan, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. Now, surprise or not, Elon Musk himself and others are thinking that if there is any competition at all for producing of electric vehicles, this will be most surely and most certainly coming from China. Welcome, my friends. You are watching the Better Future Project, where we are all about sharing knowledge, positivity, and having a good time together. There is one name in China that is outshining everyone else. And it's not new, it's not Xpeng, it's actually a company called BYD. This is the biggest by far company that is producing electric vehicles, and most likely is neck to neck with Tesla in China and in the future in Europe and America. What China is currently doing is amazing. You can see how they are progressing around the world, but they are doing it in a very different way. While in America you are imposed with tariffs and import duties and taxes, what China did actually is brilliant. They've started to build factories in Mexico. So suddenly, within the last few years, Mexico now is producing and exporting more vehicles than China, at least onto the North American market. This idea is brilliant and it works, and we can see that the electric vehicles are now produced in bigger quantities that they are purchased. This is very good, because as soon as the prices go slightly lower, we're going to be looking into our Carmageddon for vehicles that are ICE vehicles. So what happens between BYD and Tesla? Why these two companies are clashing for, of course, the electric saloon cars? Why? Because the electric saloon cars are the mass market vehicles. This is where Model 3 and even better Model Y are actually taking a land share across the world. And Model Y, as we know, is the best-selling vehicle out there. The strategy that Tesla is using to fight BYD is to be different, to produce other materials and other services, like the Powerwall, like the Cybertruck, like the Semi. So now we can see that a company like BYD is catching up with this. In fact, the strategy that BYD has is like a little bit like how China in general is fighting West products and manufacturing facilities by just simply producing a decent product on a cheaper price. So the margin that BYD operates is really ridiculous, and it varies between 1 and 3%. We hear about bigger numbers at some point, but so far, so until the data don't come out, then I can't confirm it nor deny it. However, Tesla is operating on a decent margin, and the margin for Tesla is between 15 and 25%. This is only for the manufacturing of vehicles, of course. BYD also copies Tesla in terms of battery production. Currently, the second biggest battery production in the world is BYD, just after CATL. So we can see that Chinese government is supporting the vehicle manufacturers that are about to produce cleaner versions of vehicles, and most likely electric ones. BYD also realized that the batteries they're currently having are also not enough. So what they do, they focused on hybrids. For first time this year, I think they're going to be able to hit more sales of hybrid vehicles than electric vehicles. But this is nonsense. I don't believe that hybrid vehicles are the future. And I do know that some new regulations are coming in Europe and in America to pretty much stop the hybrid vehicles because they don't operate as hybrid. Most likely they operate as ICE vehicles, and even if they operate as a hybrid vehicles, it seems that the emissions they are actually producing are a lot worse than what the car manufacturers have told us. The battle of the electric saloon continues, and it ranges now in China. We can see that Tesla sales went a little bit down in China. However, the exports are steady, and Tesla continues to export their vehicles, and they continue to be vehicle number one for sales of electric vehicles. So as long as this continues, Tesla is going to do really well. In terms of profit, Tesla is still outperforming BYD significantly. The profits for Tesla are anything between 5 to 10 times more. So this is a very, very big number. There are also speculations that BYD is getting help in order to fight Tesla from the Chinese government. How true is that? We don't know. But we can see that BYD are having nearly 700,000 people working into their manufacturers. What they do is they get any warehouses and they start producing parts quickly. As soon as they actually fit the new machines inside, they are cracking on with it. While Tesla is working on a different way. Tesla is working and is focused more on FSD, full self-driving, AI, and of course Tesla Bot. I'm not going to be surprised if we see some sort of a robot made by BYD soon rather than later, but who knows? We'll see. Now, in the Western countries like America and even here in Europe, we can see that Model Y, Model 3, and Tesla in general is still dominating. And in some cases, they are like 50%. Tesla has 50% of the whole electric market share, which is a huge number. It's like literally you have to combine all other car manufacturers that are producing electric vehicles so they can kind of match what Tesla is currently doing. And Tesla is not hold steadily. Tesla is currently in between two growth waves. And once the FSD is fully operational, we're going to see Tesla to be 5 times more usable than what is currently any vehicle is. If we continue to look at this and BYD continues to sell cheaper vehicles, but they don't have that capability, Tesla will win that market. And of course, if Tesla cannot solve the FSD, then BYD will win that market. In terms of export, BYD is currently targeting Europe through imports, and they're building also ships in order to be able to carry the electric vehicles to Europe. And also they are producing manufacturing facilities in Mexico in order to export vehicles in America. And that's not the end. While Tesla and BYD are currently into a war of who is going to dominate the world, something else is happening. Electric vehicles are taking this S shape in terms of disrupting the whole market for vehicles. And in the meantime, while these two companies are reducing prices, ending up with new capabilities, with new batteries, with new ways of building vehicles from the manufacturing standpoint to how they actually build these vehicles, from 48-watt systems to secure outside body that is currently the exoskeleton for Cybertruck. So we can see that BYD is also producing serious vehicles in terms of size, capabilities, and price. Those two companies are in competition between each other. And that brings the market to a whole new level. What is this doing to the legacy automakers? Let's have a look. In China at the moment, the Western vehicles are enjoying big sales. Chinese auto market is the biggest by far in the world. If we're aware of this, can we see what is currently happening in China? The sales of ICE vehicles are collapsing. Mazda recently filed for bankruptcy in China and they left. Hyundai and Honda sales are collapsing. Toyota sales are also down in China. So the Chinese manufacturers and the Chinese brand cars are actually overtaking market in China in significant waves, not just little. And if you look at some companies like BMW and Volkswagen are doing currently 50%, as far as 50% of their profits in China. What happens when that market there shuts for them? Because this is going to happen. The electric vehicles that Tesla and BYD are making to compete with each other are actually outmaneuvering any other manufacturers of ICE vehicles. The market is big. BYD and Tesla will take the lion's shares. At least this is how it looks like at the moment. And we're going to see into the next few months and years that the legacy automakers will be pushed out of China and Chinese vehicles will be exported to the West to be sold to the customers in there. Briefly after the Second World War, we can see that some of the economies were in ruins, and two main ones, that is the Japanese one and of course the German one. If you look at how these countries managed to recover that quickly, one of the main reasons is the production of vehicles. In Japan, you've got Honda, Hyundai, you've got Toyota, and Toyota, it's gigantic corporation. It's huge company. And of course, the sale of all these vehicles is bringing in money back to the country. And of course, it opens new job positions. And what about Germany? You have BMW, you have the supporting vehicles that they're currently having, and other brands like Mini Cooper. You have Audi that is owned by Volkswagen, you have Volkswagen, and you have so many more. And they're all based in Germany. And we can see that the German economy is one of the biggest in Europe. No surprise there, because they are exporting vehicles outside. Now, we know for the last 20 years, China's economy has been growing. In between Tesla and BYD, while they are actually doing these beautiful electric vehicles that are actually smart vehicles, and they're getting smarter, we can see that this battle between these giants is actually bringing every other ICE vehicle manufacturers on its knees. No surprise there. I guess we'll have to stay and see what is going to happen. But I am very confident that the electric vehicles are the future. And I hope others join the race, because more competition means better cars for us. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Click the notification bells so you never miss another episode. And of course, if you are having any questions or you have some thoughts on that video, make sure that you leave your comments down below. And of course, I'll see you into the next one.